Just one message before we start. Section 107 of the Copyright Act provides the statutory framework for determining whether something is a fair use and identifies certain types of uses, such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research, as examples of activities that qualify as fair use. Please no copyright. I give credit.
Hey guys. Welcome to my first video. I am super excited to start this channel and make content. But that's not what I want to talk about today. Today, I want to talk about P-50. For those who aren't familiar, P-50 is the main antagonist of the animation series, Tornado Siren Madness. He usually picks on the others, especially Alerter, more on him later. He also is not one to shy away from committing atrocities such as nuking the United States of America. I am not joking, by the way. P-50 has always been interesting to me because of how he's written. One question that I always had was, why is he evil? Sure, we do get some explanations in Alerter's Revenge and somewhere in the Reactor Core Meltdown series, but maybe there's more. I'm no psychiatrist by any means, but I think I have a couple of theories as to why. Disclaimer, like I said, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm just making these theories for fun. I am not going to justify his actions. These theories may not be accurate either. Second, I would like to apologize for the heavy use of text-to-speech. I would like to make videos in the future with my voice, but I do not have the means to do so yet. Third, there will also be some heavy topics involved such as mental illness, murder, sexual harassment, and kidnapping, on top of other subjects like tragic events. If any of these bother you, I'd advise either clicking off this video or using the timestamps in the description to skip ahead any parts you don't like. With that out of the way, let's get into it. No one is born evil, just like no one is born alone. They become that way, through choice and circumstance. I completely agree with this quote from Victoria Aveyard, especially in P-50's case. This may be hard to understand, but hear me out. Sure, most of the time when P-50 is on screen, not only shouldn't he be there because he's supposed to be serving a prison sentence, specifically 8 death sentences, 108 life sentences, and 137 additional years, thanks to the Dr. J 2006 for the stats. But he is usually trying to pick on other sirens, or commit terrorism. It can be either one, honestly. But there were some occasions where P-50 proved to us that he is capable of kindness. For example, in The Return of Gray Chrysler, he teams up with Thunderbolt and Alerter to make a plan to get rid of Gray Chrysler and the Siren minions, even taking Gray Chrysler head-on and getting held at gunpoint. For another much more recent example, P-50 ended up saving Wingo Chan, more on her later, from getting sucked up in a tornado when she was sounding off, although he intended to pee on her. Yeah. But I digress. There have been a few explanations as to why he is the way he is scattered around the series, but there's one significant moment I wanna talk about. In the episode, Alerter's Revenge, Alerter, one of P-50's favorite bullying victims, decides that he's had enough of P-50 teasing and peeing on him. I don't want to get into the peeing thing, you're just gonna have to go with it. Anyways, Alerter decides to gather some sirens and plans to kidnap P-50 in an attempt to scare him out of teasing Alerter for a while. He gets a disguise, puts P-50 in a box, and takes him to an unknown location where he is tied up. Alerter in his disguise and other sirens begin to interrogate P-50, one of those questions being why he is evil. P-50 responds with it's because he looks like a toilet and he's stupid and not smart to get me back and he keeps calling me a giant bucket and I just hate him. You may be thinking, hey, that's our answer. But I don't really think that's the actual answer. Based on what he said, I believe there's something to be inferred. I think he gave that particular answer because he was afraid and pressured to answer quickly. Let's think about the circumstances. P-50 has been kidnapped. Although he was not hurt outside of a few slaps, the actions of the other sirens and P-50's delivery of his response to the question I mentioned earlier reveal a lot about the situation that may have affected what he said. Let's rewind to the beginning of the encounter and watch.
So, are you P-50? Yes, and who I silence. Don't ask questions until I tell you to ask questions. I just wanted to shut up. Okay. Tell us what you did to a learner today. Nothing. He wasn't around.
After P-50 is told to be quiet, they begin interrogating him by asking him about what he's done to Alerter that day. After checking the episode, it seems that although P-50 may have intended to see Alerter and likely tease or defecate on Alerter, according to Alerter's assumption, I confirm that P-50 had not seen Alerter at all that day. Watch how the other sirens react to P-50's honest answer.
Nothing. He wasn't around. Trying to play stupid.
P-50 is met with a slap, followed by Alerter telling him off, saying trying to play stupid. Once again, what P-50 claimed was not a lie. The other sirens may not know this is true and just assume that something P-50 did pushed Alerter over to the edge, but Alerter should have known that P-50 hadn't done anything to him that day, and yet he played it off like P-50 did something that day. You may not think much of this interaction, but this is a straightforward example of gaslighting. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, gaslighting is the act or practice of grossly misleading someone, especially for one's own advantage. Although this is done in a long period, it can be done in a short period. As for how doing this benefited Alerter, it can be argued that he may not have corrected anyone to avoid confusion and potentially losing support in the revenge plot. That is just a guess though, since there's nothing that suggests why Alerter never corrected anyone. Another reason why he may not have corrected anyone is that he may have been trying to move on quickly to get answers to his questions, which seems to be the more likely case considering that they quickly move on to the other questions. Regardless of why, it's still gaslighting, despite how mild it may be. Anyways, gaslighting at its core is a manipulation tactic meant to make others question their psyche, which seems to be the case since their questions are related to P-50's actions and why. Gaslighting causes stress to the victim, which can greatly influence P-50's answers from then forward. Something obvious but also worth mentioning is that P-50 has been kidnapped, which is stressful in itself. You can see that based on his facial expressions, he was already scared. That would also influence his answer. And now I wanna actually talk about his answer. Let's play the clip when he answers STL's question.
Why are you such a bad siren?
Hurry up, stupid.
You have 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
It's because he looks like a toilet and he's stupid and not smart to get me back and he keeps calling me a giant bucket and I just hate him.
Alright, let's take a look. First off, P-50 seems to struggle to put his answer out based on the silence. He may have needed time to think but was pressured by Alerter initiating a countdown, likely stressing P-50 out even more. Now that's out of the way, let's look at the delivery of the actual line. You may notice that he uses the word "and" a lot. He was likely trying to extend and flesh out his answer to satisfy the group since according to the group's response to P-50's answer from the previous question, which was rather short, did not make the group happy, which may have added pressure to give a longer answer. And if we look at the reasons he listed, he says that he thinks Alerter looks like a toilet and is not very smart. He also says that Alerter calls him a bucket often and that he hates him, his answer to the previous question. Keep the bucket bit in mind, I'll talk about it later. Anyway, I want to talk about possibilities as to why he would use these reasons. Some of these reasons are nonsense, but others come from insecurity. He claims that Alerter is not very smart and that he looks like a toilet. These are just observations to P-50, and to Alerter, these are more insults. These aren't real reasons as to why he is. But let's go back to the bucket thing. The bucket name calling thing has been around for quite some time and it's understandable to be sick of it. I'm not saying that teasing sirens for 8 years is okay because of this reason, but this can explain my theory. Something I wanna mention first though is that this isn't the only instance where we see some teasing from other sirens towards P-50. There are two other instances where this comes up. First, I want to look at a clip from the Reactor Core Meltdown series, specifically Part 4. For a summary of the other parts, P-50 causes a meltdown at a nuclear plant, causing sirens to either hide, evacuate, or die. At one point, the dead sirens that were taken to West Shore Services are resuscitated and want to seek revenge. They leave and fix themselves while Thunderbeam has this conversation with 508 and Equinox. Let's watch it.
Oh, this is bad.
I know. You just lost your biggest tourist attraction.
No. It's just you. Wait. When did 508 get here?
Equinox called me after the lightning hit.
Guys, we need to save P-50.
Why? He is a jerk to everybody.
That's because everybody was a jerk to him. And plus, he is one of the main characters.
I guess you...
Thunderbeam begins to worry till Equinox and 508 come along. They first think that Thunderbeam is upset the dead sirens are gone, but Thunderbeam actually wants to save P-50. 508 points out that P-50 is a jerk, but then Thunderbeam says that he's mean because others are mean to P-50 and P-50 is an important character. He is an important character, but that's not the part I wanna look at. I wanna look at the part where Thunderbeam says that others are mean to P-50. Not only is this true, with not only Alerter but other sirens too, calling him a paint bucket, but also helps with my claim that P-50 may be insecure. Name-calling like that for so long can definitely make someone insecure, especially if it's the same insult. I also wanted to mention another detail not found in Tornado Siren Madness but in Broken Solar Panel's 44,000 subscriber special. Let's watch this clip.
Cyclone commented, 207, I guess P-50 didn't want to become a recycling bin, hence he should turn the recycling bin to P-50 face law since he is a trash compactor. Believe it or not, I actually can't change the recycle bin icon in real life. That's what gave me the idea to make it so that P-50 didn't change that icon because he didn't want to be seen as a recycle bin.
In the special, the YouTube account ACA Cyclone told Broken Solar Panel that they guessed P-50 didn't want to be a trash can. Broken Solar Panel says that he cannot change the icon to P-50. Then he says that the inability to change the icon gave him the idea that P-50 actually didn't want to change the icon to avoid being seen as a trash can. This seems minor, but it is the strongest indicator that P-50 is insecure. You may be wondering, what does this have to do with anything? Valid question. Allow me to explain what my theory actually is. I believe that P-50 may have a mild case of narcissistic personality disorder, which has very deep roots in insecurity and low self-esteem. Allow me to elaborate. Narcissistic personality disorder, according to the Mayo Clinic, is a mental health condition in which people have an unreasonably high sense of their own importance. They need and seek too much attention and want people to admire them. People with this disorder may lack the ability to understand or care about the feelings of others. But behind this mask of extreme confidence, they are not sure of their self-worth and are easily upset by the slightest criticism. Mayo Clinic also says that narcissistic personality disorder can be seen as a spectrum, which is why I say P-50 may have a mild case. Now let's talk about the symptoms. The symptoms are listed as, having a high sense of importance, feeling entitled to special treatment, becoming angry when it's not received, having expectations to be recognized as great, making achievements seem greater than they are, having fantasies about power, success, the ideal lover, etc., looking down on others they do not feel as important, expecting favors from others, taking advantage of others, not being able to see the needs of others or just ignoring them, being envious, being arrogant, insisting on having the best, having problems with interactions, can easily feel slighted after, reacting with rage and belittling others to feel superior, having difficulty managing emotions, difficulty adapting to change, avoiding or withdrawing from situations that may end up in social failure, feeling depressed because they fall short of perfection, having feelings of insecurity, humiliation, shame, fear of being exposed as a failure, etc. Now I don't believe that P-50 has all of these. He may not have all of them, or he may. I don't have enough evidence to prove that he has every single symptom, hence why I claim a mild case anyways. The symptoms I can prove that he has are his insecurity, which I have already proven, his envy, his rage, his belittling, and his arrogancy. The first one I would like to talk about is his envy. It isn't seen in most of the series but is blatantly obvious throughout the Love Triangle series. To summarize the series, P-50 and his twin, P-50, both have a crush on Wingo-chan. Something you must know is that P-50 is the near opposite of P-50. P-50 is well known for being a kind siren who enjoys helping others. Because of this, Wingo-chan is interested in P-50, leaving P-50 extremely jealous. All of his actions throughout are usually an attempt to sabotage P-50, and why would he do so other than to have a chance with Wingo-chan? His jealousy knows no limits, as shown by the things he'd done, such as knocking out and posing as his twin and even grabbing Wingo-chan inappropriately, forcing P-50 to resort to shooting P-50 to get him to stop. Next up, we got rage. It's an easy one to prove at that. In the episode Sirens and Fidget Spinners, where we see a very blatant example of his rage when he instantly cusses out a Toys R Us employee for not having fidget spinners in stock. Take a look.
Do you have any fidget spinners?
No. I just sold the last one to that T22.
Are you me? How could you sell that thing to a weak piece of I am the loudest tornado siren in the world and you don't have any fidget spinners? You moron.
Please, calm down.
No. You can go yourself. God. Unbelievable.
Tell me this isn't rage at its finest. Another easy one to prove is the belittling. There's no way anyone had watched Tornado Siren Madness and didn't see an episode where P-50 hasn't picked on anyone without it being a truce. I can list every single time where P-50 had insulted someone, but then we'd be here all day. Instead, I'll list every instance of teasing from only one, rather short, episode, The Good, The Bad, and the Meanie P-50, Part 1. Here we go. Called Blockhead Stupid, called Alerter a Toilet Moron, and called Alerter by Mr. Toilet. If you couldn't recall, this is P-50's favorite insult, and that episode was 5 minutes long. Imagine what he was doing for over 180 episodes. To calculate exactly how long this series is, it would be 20 hours, 9 minutes, and 19 seconds long, as of the release of this video. But I digress. The last symptom I would like to talk about is his arrogancy. Once again, I would like to look at the Love Triangle series, but this time, in Part 1. It starts off with P-50 attempting to take Wingo-chan out and getting literally thrown somewhere else by P-50. Then he takes Wingo-chan to the park where they run into the strangely physically resilient P-50. Then this interaction occurs.
Lay off my you son of a P-50. Here, I'm back. You can't get rid of me that easily.
Get your antenna off him.
Wingo. Why are you with him? He's not even that loud. He's reverse wired. Plus, he wasn't even meant to exist. He's just a glitch clone.
Do I look like I care? I can hang out with whoever I please. I'm not even your girlfriend, P-50.
Why do you wanna hang out with someone with a sappy name like P-50? Bruh, I'm standing right here. Shut up and listen to my burns. Oh, and not to mention that voice. And I'm more manly than you.
It starts off as one of those arguments, but then P-50 starts making comments about how he's bigger. If you don't know what he means by that, you may be too young for the internet. And of course, P-50's iconic line, "They don't call me a penetrator for nothing." One of my favorite dirty puns. These comments are very unnecessary but prove my point. This is a good example of being arrogant. How? He's inflating his image to impress others. Now with the symptoms out of the way, there's one final point of discussion that needs to be made. Narcissism, regardless of the degree, is always caused by something on the outside. They're never born that way. But what could trigger such a change? I'll tell you. There is hard evidence that shows that P-50 wasn't always like this. As mentioned multiple times, he did have a job, and it wasn't any job. He was the CEO of ACA before they became ASC. In the episode, ACA Headquarters, we see Alerter getting built and finished. Let's watch the rest.
Is he almost done?
Yes, he is completed.
Alright. Wake him up. Okay.
What the heck? Where am I?
Welcome to the world.
Who are you?
I am P-50, the manager of this place.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. Put him in here. Okay.
What the heck? Why the heck was I thrown in here?
Alright. Let's test your decibel rating. "125 decibels. Not bad."
What? I can't hear you. All I hear is a high-pitched ringing sound.
Oh, perhaps I should have given you all hearing protection. Let's put a wear hearing protection warning sticker in the intake horn. Good idea.
What?
Now we need to give you a name.
How about toilet?
Stop messing around or you're fired.
Okay. I'll shut up. Sorry.
How about a learner?
Perfect.
As we can see, P-50 acts very differently in this episode, being welcoming and frankly proud of his creation. He even stops other sirens from teasing him. But, I wouldn't be mentioning this if it wasn't the trigger, so I'll skip over to that.
This is TSN News. Brought to you by Whale Engineering. We just had breaking news come in. ACA has announced that they are shutting down. We interview with P-50, who is the manager.
We ran out of money to keep the place alive. So we had to, what does that say? Oh, go yourself.
And now back.
Right here, P-50 mentions his mistake of running out of money. Obviously, he would feel incredibly guilty, but the headline insulting him only made him feel worse. The fact that a mistake that lost him his job and ruined his life is being used as a new method of insulting him without proper cause would have very much infuriated him. As mentioned before, he's insecure, and he does get teased often too. On most occasions, the fights he gets in are situations escalated by the other party. Of course, he has a mild case of NPD, the insecurities that caused it grew from guilt and humiliation. To summarize this entire video, P-50 may have a case of mild narcissism because he displays envy, rage, and arrogance. He very often belittles others, and that's because the guilt he feels from losing his entire company haunts him, and the teasing makes that insecurity grow to the point where he lets it define him. Well, looks like we reached the end of my first video. It was definitely longer and heavier than I was expecting, but it was so worth it. I've been dying to talk about this theory. If you like this kind of stuff, I will likely be making more like it, so subscribe and turn on notifications so you can see when I upload. And if you want, you should like this video too. Not only will it help me out, but it tells the algorithm to put more content like this on your homepage. By the way, this house in The Sims 4 that was in the background was built by me. And it's available in the gallery if you want it. Thanks for watching and see you next time.
Now.
Bet that fire's fake.